So the next things what I am going to talk as the part of exception handling. What is control flow in try catch finally? Control flow in nested try catch finally. Just if you know, if an exception got raised within the try block, what will happen? If an exception got raised within catch block, what will happen? Or within finally block, what will happen? Like, if you know these control flows, nothing will be there in the exception handling. That's why let me talk. Yes, keep subheading. Okay, now just I'm taking try. Within the try block, statement 1, statement 2, statement 3 I'm taking. And then catch block, some exception E, statement 4 I am taking, and then statement 5. Just try, catch, and then statement 5 I am taking. Now among these, if an exception got raised within the try block, what will happen? Within the catch block, what will happen? Within at statement 5, if an exception got raised, what will happen? Compulsory you people should have clear clarity. Okay, first take this part. So now case 1, if an exception raised, listen, if an exception raised yet, suppose, forget about exception, if there is no exception. So if there is no exception, in which order the statements are going to execute? So 1, 2, 3 will execute, and then 5. Catch block won't be executed, because if there is no exception, catch block won't be executed, right? Add case 1. One, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Is it normal termination or abnormal termination? Normal or abnormal? Normal termination. Because there is no exception, then so 1, 2, 3, 5 normal termination, right? Okay, this is. Next case 2. Okay, yeah. Here listen, if an exception raised at statement 2, an exception got raised at statement 2, and corresponding catch block matched, then what is the flow? Add. Yes, can I spell out what is the flow now? 1, 1. So while executing 2, the problem came. Immediately the control is coming to statement catch block 4, and then 5 will be executed or not? Yes, 5. Is it normal termination or not? Yes, normal termination, because an exception raised and handled. That's why 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5 normal termination. But here one point you should aware. While if the problem came at 2, now the corresponding catch block matched. Yes, after executing catch block, is the control will go back or control will continue? Make sure within the try block, if anywhere an exception raised, even though we handle that exception, rest of the try block won't be executed. Okay, that's why if the problem at 2, while executing catch block, after completing, now statement 5 will be executed, but statement 3 won't be executed even though we handle. That's why length of try block should be as less as possible. Okay, this is we have to take only risky code within the try block. Are you getting right? Okay, this is make sure I will give that notes anyway at last. Now case 3. Case 3 add. Yes. Can you tell what is the flow now? One will be executed. Here is the problem, but the corresponding catch block not matched. Then immediately the program will be terminated abnormally. That's why 1 followed by abnormal termination. That's all. Now case 4. Case 4. Here just a legend. If an exception rises at statement 4, suppose either 1 or 2 or 3, there is a problem. Now immediately catch block matched, but while executing catch block, if an exception got raised, is it normal termination or abnormal termination? Make sure it is not part of try block. If it is not part of try, corresponding catch block is not there. If the catch is not there, then it's always abnormal termination. Correct, right? So if any statement which raises an exception, if it is not part of try block, it is always abnormal termination. Okay, that's why if an exception rises at a statement 4, normal or abnormal termination? Abnormal. If an exception rises at a statement 5, is it normal or abnormal? Abnormal, because this is also not part of try block. Next, add. Are you getting right? So within the try, if an exception rises, within the catch, if an exception rises, or here an exception rises, compulsory you people should be aware how the control flow, right? Okay, this is. But here there are some important theoretical things we covered. Let me talk about these things. So within the try block, if anywhere an exception rises, even though we handle that exception, rest of the try block won't be executed. That's why make sure the length of the try block should be as less as possible, or we have to take only risky code within the try block. Is it clear? We have to take only risky code within the try block. Length of the try block should be as less as possible. But worst kind of programming practice most of the people are going to do. Suppose they are writing main method like main method. Next there is a big code is there. Now suppose assume some exception got raised. Immediately the people what their trend is they will open try block here and they will keep catch block at last. Catch exception E is nothing but like end of the main. If an exception got raised in the first line only, what will happen? Without executing this much length of the code, directly the control is coming to catch block. Without executing this much code, how we can expect proper behavior, right? That's why within the try block, we have to take only risky code, and normal code not recommended to take. The length of the try block should be as less as possible. Are you getting right? So the first conclusion is the clear. Okay, add. Are you getting? So the first point is the clear. Within the try block, if anywhere an exception rises, rest of the try block won't be executed, even though we handle. That's why length of the try block should be as less as possible, and we have to take only risky code within the try block. Okay, this is the first one. Next, don't feel exceptions are always going to be raised within the try block. There may be a chance to rise within the catch block. There may be a chance of rising within the finale block also. That's why. But most of the people are going to fail. Sir, exceptions are going to be raised within the try. We should handle within the catch. Within the catch also may be a chance to raise an exception. That's why add conclusion 2. Third one, have you observed? If an exception rises at statement 4, is it a normal termination or abnormal termination? Abnormal, because it is not part of try. If it is not a part of try block, then the catch block won't be there. Are you getting? If it is not part of try, if it is not part of try, catch is not there, because catch is applicable only for try. If it is not part of try, catch is not there. If the catch is not there, but still exception rises, it is always abnormal termination, right? So if an exception rises at statement 4 or statement 5, it is always abnormal termination. So if any statement which raises an exception which is not part of try block, it is always abnormal termination, right? At conclusion 3. Clear, right? So this is about control flow in try catch. Okay, that's all.